Hey everybody, welcome to another Digital Dungeon Master stream. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing good. Hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. I've been watching the Buffalo Bills and Texans game, which is in overtime still, and it looks like I'm pulling for Buffalo. Actually, I don't know why, even though a Texas. I'm a Texan now. I don't know why I'm going for the Bills. Maybe it's because the Bills always have such a bad season, maybe, and they haven't really done anything since the '90s and Jim Kelly and stuff. So maybe I think I'm pulling for the Bills. So tonight for the next hour ish or so, we're gonna talk about my new world of Rakkahn. So definitely going to take a look at that and kind of talk about the mechanics and talk about all kinds of good stuff about the game. I've got some notes and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll discuss my world and see what's going on with it and kind of get some ideas from you guys as well to see if I'm kind of going in the right direction or so. So yeah, is anybody else watching the game or anything like that? I know that I'm sure that some of you guys are. I don't know if too many of you guys are big football fans or not, but let's see what you guys are up to. Here we go. What's going on, Twisted Tech Mike? Hey, Bell. What's going on, Pernicious Pilfer? What's up, Dave Johnson? What's going on, Ryu? What's going on? Hey, Drake, what's going on? Tier. So what's up? Go Tigers, huh? Going for the Tigers. I'm going for Clemson as well for the college national championship. So, yeah, Dave Johnson. I actually today I went ahead and I put a new link up there. So you should be able to use that new link on the video on today's video that came out. So how did you guys like the format of that new video that I put out today? Did you guys like the format of that where I put the Twitch chat on one side of the screen to where you guys can kind of follow along with the Twitch chat and me discussing things? I think that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take the Twitch chat and kind of use that in video. So I think that'll allow people to follow along a little bit better, because if I don't have the Twitch up there, I'm just kind of rambling on and talking to random people, and I think the viewers watching the videos are like, who in the hell is he talking to? So I think putting the chat in there and kind of lining up the chat with the video, I think that'll work. So yeah, I think having that chat on there is a good thing. So, wow, I can't believe Buffalo just missed his tackle, and they got a first down. That's the ball game right there, guys. The game is over. The Texans are down to, the 10-yard line. He should have been sacked. Buffalo had a couple of missed tackles. I should have been calling that play-by-play for you guys, because I probably would have been screaming right now at the game. so sorry. I'm trying to watch the game, and I'm trying to talk to you guys, and I'm also trying to get everything set up. So hey, Stone, thanks so much. Stone, thanks so much for the follow. Totally appreciate it. Welcome. If you guys haven't followed the channel yet, feel free to follow it. I mean, hey, I'm back. Daddy's back. Daddy's got you. So yeah, it looks like the game may be over now. So poor Buffalo, man. I was pulling for him, but I don't know. I mean, hell, it could happen where, you know, the Texans could miss a field goal, but I don't know. I don't know if their kicker's going to miss a 20-yard field goal or not, but they're knocking on heaven's door. That's for sure. So, but so yeah, today we're gonna talk about all about basically. Well, we're not gonna talk all about my world. I mean, this is the first video, so you know what I mean. So we're just going to be talking mechanics and stuff. I've already made a decision and stuff on which rule set and stuff I'm gonna do. So, are you at the game? You're not at the game, are you? Though, Keep. You're not at the game, are you? Lance, you're murdering some teriyaki chicken fingers, dude. That sounds so good right now. Belle, you just got home from shopping. That's cool. Did you get anything good? College only in the house? I got you twisted. I like college too, man. Stoneless B, Joe Burrow is a GOAT. That semifinal game he had was pretty impressive. Just hope he can do that in the NFL, you know. But he's really good. I'm sure he'll be pretty successful. Yeah, I think so too. I think Stoneless. I think having the chat in there, I think that's also going to help with keeping people engaged, because, hey, when you see me just talking and answering people and talking to people, you have no clue how in the hell I'm answering them or anything like that. So, yeah, I think, exactly, Drake. Hey, what's up, Drake? Yeah, it's like I'm talking to myself, man. So here we go, number 7 for the for the Houston Texans with a 28-yard attempt. The kick is up, and he splits the uprights. The goal is good. The Texans have won the AFC wildcard game. They're going to move on to the next round, where they're going to fight and win against New England or Tennessee. Because I don't want New England or Tennessee to win, so especially New England. They've already won enough shit over the last 20 years. So, what a valiant effort by the Buffalo Bills. Maybe next year. Unbelievable. Man, they had that goddamn game and they gave it away, man. Oh well. Yeah, I think it looks like I'm talking to myself as well, Drake. So yeah, I'm not gonna put videos up there anymore without the chat. So it takes a little bit longer to do, actually, from a production standpoint, because I have to take 2 videos, crop one, and then it's more time consuming. But hey, I can do that in the background when I'm working and doing other stuff. So that's really not a problem at all. Big Daddy, nice Bell, thank you. Are you single, by the way? Anyways, Sandman, what's going on? How you doing? You were at the first round game, had a blast. That's cool, Twisted. Yeah, Sandman, I got a haircut, man, for sure. Got it about a week ago. My hair was hanging over my ears and stuff, so I'm like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get my ears lowered. So, are you fixing to run some? Are you running the 3.5 version of Forge of Fury, Lance, or are you gonna be running the 5e conversion of Forge of Fury from the Tales from the Yawning Portal module? Or I can get a co-host and talk to them. Yeah, I could do that too, Drake. Drake, you're fixing to run your BGDIA. The blank are in the... That's cool, Lance. You're running a 5e Yawning Portal version of it. That's cool. Now I get Now that the game's over, now that the Bills have lost, I am starting to hiccup now for some god unknown reason. So, all right, so we're gonna get going, and I'm gonna also put the chat up in this video as well, and I'll put this up here on YouTube. So I think it'll be fun to talk about the basics of my world, because I'm going to be asking you guys questions as well, because I kind of want to see and feel and gauge what you guys think about the ideas that I have for my world of Rakkahn, which is what it's called. And in case you guys do not know, my Rakkahn, the world of Recon, that is it's my world that I've basically been writing down information and ideas that I've had for 20 plus years now. So, I mean, I've got ledger books full of information that I want to put into, PDFs and stuff like that, and, have my Patreon page to where my patrons can access all of this content from my world, and all of the cartography I'm going to be doing with a couple of different programs that I've purchased recently, and a lot of the commercial assets and stuff like that. I'll be using. Well, first off, it's the world is called Rakkahn, and it's Rakkahn, and the Rakkahn comes from way back 20 plus years with one of my friends that had a paladin named Rakkahn. And his paladin was the epitome of lawful good, man. I mean, everything he did was, just and noble, and he always contributed to, no matter whatever church or temple was in a town or on the side of a road, he just always would contribute to all of them. And his character just had great luck for doing that. He always rolled good. I told myself a couple of years ago when I was thinking about writing my world, I'm like, what is a good name for the world that I'm creating? And I was thinking, I think I'll name it the World of Recon, because my buddy he had that paladin, and that was probably one of my favorite characters besides my friend Franklin that played a wizard. I think Recon was probably my favorite character that I ever adventured with, and so I think it would be a fair tribute to name the entire world after his character. Not that my game is going to be high fantasy or anything like that, because it's not going to. My world is going to be weird, and it's going to be fantasy. It's also going to have a touch of science fiction in it. There's going to be lots of planes of existence, whether it be, the plane of life or the plane of death or the plane of fire. I feel that a lot of games don't touch on planes enough. And, I want my world to access all of them. You know what I mean? And there will be an underwater plane. There's not a lot of adventuring or content for underwater adventures. I want to do that. Even something equivalent to the astral sea in space. So I'm going to need mechanics and stuff for all of this. There's going to be huge domes in my world to where there won't be any air in the atmosphere. So these domes will protect you, and you have to seek, you need to seek passage through the different domes that are connected together. And magic will work in some areas. Magic will not work in some areas. And there will be different, of course, I don't even know if there's going to be different schools of magic. But I also want to do, where some magic will work a little bit better on some planes, and some magic won't work on other planes. So I think the plane hopping will be really fun, and that's something that I want to do. So I've determined that for Rakkahn, I want to have. I'm a huge system of. I'm a huge fan of rolling d6s, and throughout since I started playing in 1984 until probably about 6 years ago when I started actually DMing in 2013, 2014, I was primarily a D20 guy. From basic D&D to Talislanta to, 4th edition to 5th edition to playing Pathfinder. And the first time that I ever really experienced a D6 type of mechanic system was Dragon Age. And yes, in case you guys didn't know, there is a dice and pencil and dice Dragon Age role-playing game. It is by Green Ronine Publishing, Chris Pramis, his company. And the first time that I ever played that was the first time, excluding, Star Frontiers way back then, but I can't include Star Frontiers as a different mechanic system that I played because we only played it just a couple of times. And so I can't really justify that as a rule set or a mechanic system that I've used. But the first time that I ever played Dragon Age, it's a 3d6. It's a 3d6 system. It's called the Age system. And I fell in love with it. Because I ran a campaign probably about 5.5 years ago. And, it was a Grey Warden campaign. The players had some interactions with Duncan, the one of the leads of the Grey Wardens, and it was a really fun time. I did not know anything about the lore of Dragon Age. I never read any of the novels. I never played the video games. I did actually. Vay got me into playing the Dragon Age video games, but it really wasn't. I didn't like I didn't like all the controls for the Dragon Age video game, so I stopped playing it. I only played it for a couple of hours. But the pen and paper, oh my gosh, I love Dragon Age. Well, anyway, after years and years of Dragon Age, 3 box sets, and then they put out a couple of years ago a core rule book, which is on my shelf behind me. I actually have once we get the game going, I have an extra core rule book that I'm going to be doing as a giveaway. So it's not right now, so everybody don't start rolling die or rolling numbers in chat because it'll be later on down the future. But it's an all-in-one book. It's it has all 3 box sets. It's a level 1 to 20 game, and I just absolutely love the 3d6 rolls. Very minimal bonuses and. I just really liked it, and I love the stunt system with it as well. So basically how it works is if you roll 3d6, 2 dice are black, 1 dice is red, or whatever colors you want, as long as you got 2 the same color, and then your dragon die is your off color. And if you roll doubles on any of those, that means that you stunted. So you take the off-color die, and if your off-color die was a 3, then you got 3 stunt points to spend. And then there's stunts for melee attacks or stunts for ranged attacks. There's stunts for role-playing. There's stunts for exploration. There's stunts for magic. There's magical mishaps to where if you screw up on a roll, you can basically up to kill yourself. And I love that. I mean, it was such a great game, and it was a very easy game to teach my players too. Hell, I think I maybe read about Dragon Age a couple of days before we started playing, and the players learned so quick. I mean, it was a very player friendly experience, new player friendly experience, and that was another thing that made me come to the decision that I wanted to use 3d6 because it's easy to use, and I want something easy to use that anybody can just pick it up and read it and say, oh, this seems pretty easy, seems like a cool thing, and that's it's going to be nice for new players. So And then after years of Dragon Age products, basically that line came to the end. I guess it was because it was so hard and difficult and very time consuming to get BioWare to, approve all of this content. And I think they had a lot of other ideas for content that they wanted to make for Dragon Age, but I just don't think it happened because of BioWare. So Fantasy Age evolved. And Fantasy Age is the same dice mechanic system that's used for Dragon Age. So, and there's Fantasy Age, there's Modern Age, and it's a versatile rule set. So I could even use this for my, zombie apocalypse game if I wanted to. I've been running my zombie apocalypse using Savage Worlds. So I could even use Fantasy Age to run a modern day campaign because it's, like GURPS and also like Fantasy Age, it's a versatile rule set and it's generic to where it can be used with any genre that you play. So that's what I wanted as well because we're going to be doing a lot of plane hopping. So, one of my planes could be a whole nother world. It could be the planet Earth. And I mean, you could, basically like Dungeons and Dragons, you just, the old cartoon, you just go into the, you go onto the roller coaster or the little ferry trolley in the little lazy lake, and then you come out the other side and you're in some fantasy world, or you're in the plane of I don't know, the plane of Earth or something like that. And I think that rule set gives so much diversity to playing the game, and that's what I wanted. So that was the big hurdle, is finding a mechanic system, and that's why I decided to do that. So I decided to stay away from D20 just because of with like 3.5 OGL and all the other ones. I just don't want all that complexity. So. Yeah, so the decision's been made. Going to be using a 3D6 system. So hey, if you guys have any other ideas in chat, feel free to speak out. Because I'm reading the chat. So, and I'll go back and forth as well. It's not that Obmi says I hate Spelljammer. He's got a great memory. Obmi must have a database of everything that I've said. So, Ami, yeah, I've stated a couple times didn't like Spelljammer. I just didn't like the wooden ships in space and, orcs and astronaut suits and stuff. And I know that game wasn't just all about that, but some of it I was just, I don't know. It's just weird. So, and then, another thing that I was, thinking about is how can I be different, with a game? Because let's face it, once you play a game, you kind of play them all, right? So there's aspects of other games too that I like, so acing die from Savage Worlds. I love acing die from Savage Worlds. I love advantage and disadvantage, no matter if it comes from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or a different version of advantage and disadvantage, which is from another 3D6 system that I adore, which is Shadow of the Demon Lords. And I like that as well. So there's, I love the stunts from Fantasy Age. There's all kinds of favorite mechanics that I like from all these other games. So I was thinking of, hey, why don't I take some of those other mechanics and put them into my mechanics? So that way there can be more dice added, to rolls, or some type of critical stunt system, or some type of, critical fumble stunt system added into a game. But the whole theme is to keep it simple and not to overcomplicate the mechanics. I want to keep it simple, but yet add just a little bit more crunch to where it's not going to be too cumbersome for people to learn. They'll just be able to read it once and say, yeah, That's cool. That makes sense. So I like that. So that's another thing that I've been thinking about with, the world of Rakkahn. Another thing that really irks me about RPG games in general is the whole level concept. I love the level concept, don't get me wrong. But if a game is going to put content out where you have progression up to a maximum level, a couple of great examples are the D20 systems. Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition had a maximum level of 30. Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, also Dungeons & Dragons 3 and 3.5 have a maximum level of 20. Fantasy Age has a maximum level of 20. Is there content out to get you through to level 20? In most of these games, there's very little content, especially consistent content, that takes you above like level 5 to 8. So that's something that's also irked me about a game as well. So I'm thinking, I think I want to keep my game to a maximum level of 10. So I don't know how you guys feel about that are out in the live Twitch stream now, or if you're watching this on YouTube. I mean, feel free to let me know how you guys think about that as well. So we'll take and the last thing with character customization, I want players to be able to get multiple options every level. So instead of getting something in, say, a level 20 or a level 30 maximum level game, how about we just condense it down to 10 levels, so that way every single level you get a bunch of cool stuff. Because I just don't see a lot of games go over level 10. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But if you guys are on the same wavelength with me, feel free to please, voice yourself in chat, because I'm going to be putting this chat into the video as well, so everybody can see me talking with the audience as we're moving along. So keep on the Borderlands. You started a 3D6 system. Yeah, I love 3D6. I think it's a great system. Tyr, you've dipped your toes into the Age system, but you never really got to fully experience it. Well, whenever I do my first couple adventures of Recon, I'll get you into a couple of my short adventures that I'm going to be doing. So, sure, you can toss out Savage Worlds, Twisted Mike. I love Savage Worlds. I really do. But I know there's some licensing involved with Savage Worlds, so... Hey, what's up, DC610? Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while, man. Thanks, man. I've lost a couple pounds since I've moved to Texas a couple years ago. I feel great, and yeah, thanks. It's good to see you again. Yeah, you don't care about the leveling, and that's another thing that I thought about as well, was just have your character, male or female, start at the beginning with no level, and just give you like a point buy system. Every session you'll get, I think the Genesis game does this, and I know Savage Worlds does this as well. And this is another thing that I like about other games, is the levelless system. So instead of doing levels, would it just be cool to just keep giving a point buy or maybe some type of soul points that you can have to purchase skills and archetypes and specializations, new skills, skill upgrades. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can, customize a character. So that's something that I also thought about as well, was a skill-less leveling system. And I think that could possibly work too. You know what I mean? So that's something that I thought about. Black, are you in favor of level 10? Yeah, there's just not a lot. There's just not a lot of content for higher level. But let's face it, how many games will last to level 20? And I can see why publishers don't do that. Is because the higher level stuff will probably not be consumed as much as a low level adventure. So I mean, it's kind of common sense, but if you're gonna but you give the DM and the players the option to get up to 20 or 30, at least have some content out that you can assist your game master and players get to level 20 and 30. So, but Johnny, what's going on? Johnny, the Warrior 546. Johnny's actually the youngest player that I've ever had. Johnny's 13. How close to 14 are you, Johnny? The Expanse RPG uses the age. Yeah, I saw that. The Expanse is a sci-fi setting, if I'm not mistaken. Bella, you love cool stuff. You like the thought of getting multiple things per level. Yeah, I definitely. That's definitely going to work. That's if I go with a level based type of system. But if I go with a skill, or like maybe we'll call it soul points or whatever, with a lot of options or feats or ability score improvements, I mean, anything you can do to upgrade your character, then you could probably get something, at least one thing every session, like a minor upgrade. But there would be no maximum. You can just keep going and going and going and going and just keep upgrading and customizing your character, which is another great thing about having a level-less type of, character creation in your world. So, your cousin would like me to say to you he likes saying Baby Yoda in Japanese. Jeez. If I only had you in chat, I would let him do that. Is this primarily tabletop or online? Well, keep on the Borderlands. I will actually share this, and this is the first time I'm actually publicly sharing this. So, one of my friends is actually making me a very basic Fantasy Age type of 3d6 rule set for Fantasy Grounds. It's not going to be called Fantasy Age. It's just 3d6. And it has a character sheet. It has all of the sidebar buttons. Everything will be drag and droppable. There is no automation at all in this rule set. I asked for a rule set with no automation. The only automation that I asked for would be to have a dice strand on an attack or a spell and to calculate encumbrance, because I love encumbrance. So there will be a Unity rule set for Rakkahn. So, and that's what we'll be using. That's what we'll be using to test the game, and we'll be testing it on stream as well, which I'm really looking forward to doing. So I'm going to put it in a PDF form, keep on the Borderlands, and I'm also going to put it in Fantasy Grounds modules as well. But the Fantasy Grounds modules are not going to be for public consumption. I don't know. Maybe that may be a patron reward. I don't know. I'll have to double check with Doug and John on that. So. You've been in a Pathfinder game for what? You've been in a game for 5 years, Ryu, and you still haven't hit level 17. Omi's group, when we played Adventurers League all the way to Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Tomb of Annihilation, those guys only hit level 6, and it took 4 years to do that. And that's a legit, level 6. That's not playing a session and saying, "Oh, congratulations, you just hit a milestone." Bada bing, bada boom. I mean, yeah, bada bing, bada boom. I've been watching a lot of old Dean Martin roast. Black Lotus, you're not asking for a level 20 campaign book, but epic adventures would be nice. Well, yeah, I mean, you can do epic stuff from level 8 to 10. I mean, that could be an epic level range. An epic level range doesn't have to be 13 to 20 or anything. But I will have content for all level ranges. There's no doubt about that. And I'll have, tons of creatures. I'll have NPCs. I'll have all kinds of areas that are, kind of level based and stuff like that. So, yeah. You like playing and running Dark Heresy 2nd Edition? Hey, Maureen Toomer, good to see you as well, man. Haven't seen you in a while. But then again, you haven't seen me in a while either. So, I mean, this is only my second stream back in many, many, many months. So, you wait patiently for your game? I bet you do. After all those years. So, yeah, that's something else that, that I another thing that I want to do is, do I want to include, and this goes with, character creation as well. This goes, and I loved back in the old school Talislanta days when I played Talislanta, which we may be playing Talislanta at the end of this year. So it just all depends. But I liked everything in basic Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously, I'm a huge Beckme fan, as you can see. Back in Beckme, basic D&D, and Talislanta, the race and the class was kind of all mixed up into one. But that could lead to problems where you need to create a lot more individual classes to, first use all of the races that you want to have in your world, plus all of the different, classes and roles that you'd have, whether it be, an arcane wizard type or, someone that wears heavy armor, or maybe something with sticky fingers that likes to hide in shadows, or maybe a holy type of character that would heal like a paladin or a cleric. So that's another drawback about having, the race and the class mixed up together as one base option for your character. But it could be done. I mean, it can definitely be done, whether it be, a level 1 to 10 character leveling system, or just the soul, we'll just call it soul points for this stream, where you just get X amount of soul points per game to where you can customize your character. So, I mean, that can be done, but I'm kind of on the fence about that. Well, really not on the fence. I love the mixture of the race and the class in one, but I always like the independence, especially when first edition came out, advanced first edition, when races and classes were separate. Because, some people may want to play a Draco type of, which a Draco with, going way back, Draco is like a Dragon Man. So if you want to play a Dragon Man, you don't have to just play a Draconic Sorcerer. You can play a Draco and whatever, job role that you want to, have. So that's something that I thought about as well. And if you guys want to sound off and chat about that also, but I'm on the fence about it, but I think I'll probably go with the independent race and job role or class or whatever you want to call it, because you can get just maximum, there's just no, finite number of, hey, you have to be this or you have to be that. I mean, you can just mix and match, sort of like what D&D 5e does, D&D 4e, 3.5 and Pathfinder. You can just, any class can be any race or, role or anything like that. So that was something that I'd thought about too. And, and something else that I thought about is what do I want to do with, specialization? I mean, once you figure out how you want to be able to customize your character, whether it be some type of ability score increase, or maybe some type of class per se, or call it a role, or if there's any kind of backgrounds that you want to add in, or maybe the job that you had before you actually became an adventurer. What kind of specializations do you want there to be? Melee specializations? Do you want a bunch of specializations that include, black powder weapons? Because there is going to be black powder in my world. It's going to be very rare. You're not going to be able to find black powder, in very many places, but you may be able to, eventually run across stuff that you can make black powder with. So that's another thing, crafting as well. That's going to be talked about heavy in my next stream. We'll talk about crafting and modifying and all that other good stuff. So yeah. So do you want specialties? Do you want archetypes? I mean, do you want backgrounds? Do you want jobs? I mean, and you can just keep, and of course you'd be limited with one job, because that I could just not see it working any other way. I mean, if you were a butcher in your previous, life before you became an adventurer, maybe you would get a bonus on small melee weapon attacks or something like that. Because, I mean, hell, if you were a butcher for the first 25 years of your life, you'd obviously be pretty skilled with a small knife or blade or something like that. So I could see giving like a small minute bonus or something like that, or maybe on some type of check being, with maybe food or cooking or something like that. So I want to involve all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I there's so much more, and I want to just keep going on and on about cooking and all the ideas on it, but I need to save that for later. So do we want skill checks in a game? I'm a huge fan of skill checks. I love skill checks. Where I really started loving skill checks was 4th edition, because this is another one of my favorite mechanics in any game that I've ever played are the old skill challenges that were in 4th edition. I can't believe the skill challenges weren't moved over to D&D 5th edition. Skill challenges were so fun. It got everybody involved, and you were either successful with your skill challenge or you failed. So something good happened or something bad or a setback happened. So I like that, and I want to incorporate skills into my world. And to talk about skills, I also want to incorporate skill challenges, group skill challenges, because I just loved them. And there's also some things that I don't like about skill checks in other games. I don't think if you are not skilled or proficient in a particular type of skill, you should not be successful, or you should not even really have a chance to be successful on a skill check. I'm just not a fan of that. I mean, hell, anybody can pad their ability scores and get a great bonus on a skill check. And, here you go, you're trying to diagnose a medical disease or a curse or something like that on someone. And you've been a soldier your life, or a guard. You would have no clue how to ascertain certain skill checks that are medical, unless you had training or something like that. But then obviously you would be able to roll. So that's something that I also want to incorporate into my game. Hey, some skill checks, and I think other games do. I think there's a couple of other games out there that actually say you have to be proficient, or you have to have a mastery in this skill to be able to perform an operation on someone and be successful. I think that's logical. That's just, I think it's logical. That's just my, that's my opinion. Role-playing counters. We're talking about character creations and skills and stuff. Another thing that I love about Savage Worlds goes back to Deluxe Edition and the Adventure Edition are dramatic tasks, role-play encounters. Can you defuse the barrel of gunpowder? Can you figure this out before the jail cell this barrel explodes with you in the room? So let's have a dramatic task and let's see if you can figure out how to disarm this barrel of gunpowder that's going to go off, or a magical rune that's set to explode. It doesn't have to be a barrel of powder. It can be anything. How about let's perform a dramatic task to close the portal to the plane of undeath before the Archlich and all of his minions come pouring out, taking over the world of Rakkahn. So let's have a dramatic task to close that portal. Make it dramatic for your players. But that's sort of like a skill challenge as well, because you can do the same thing with a skill challenge. Like I've done a couple of skill challenges in D&D 5e when we were playing the converted 4th edition Keep on the Shadowfell. And at the end, you have to close the portal where the demons don't come out. So I did a skill challenge with D&D 5e skills, and it worked great. My players loved it. So, yeah, dramatic task and skill challenges. I want to, and skills themselves. I do want to incorporate those into my world. So, I mentioned Encumbrance earlier. I love Encumbrance, but I don't like the way some games do Encumbrance. Especially where dwarves can carry an entire castle on their back and the kitchen sink that's going to have running water. I don't want that. What I do like, and this goes back into taking all of my favorite parts of different games that I've played throughout the years, I love Encumbrance in Savage Worlds because it is brutal and it is realistic. You can't carry 50 things on you in Savage Worlds. You can only carry, once you have your armor, and the heavier your armor is, the less stuff you're going to carry. You're going to be able to carry. But then again, you can also have specializations or feats or whatever you want to call them that will give you a little bit more carrying capacity. So, would you guys like to see some type of encumbrance? But yet keep it within a realistic point of view. And yes, I know it's a fantasy game or a sci-fi game or science fiction fantasy, but you can still have some rules that kind of are realistic with your game. So I think having a realistic encumbrance is great. Instead of take for instance, in most D20 games, a dwarf can carry thousands and thousands of pounds of encumbrance. Hello. Let's keep that, let's keep it, let's keep that at a realistic point, instead of, the dwarf always being able to carry the castle with the running water and the kitchen sink. So, but yeah, encumbrance is something that I've also, talked about, and I also mentioned the favorite parts, the gimmicks and stuff. So I want to see what you guys are talking about. But do you guys like advantage? Do you guys like it, advantage and disadvantage? Do you like, if you have a critical success, do you want to add more dice to your dice pool to do more damage? Do you want to have, something like in, Fantasy Age, in the age system, where there's like a stunt mechanic? Or do you want to add both? Do you want crit, like a 666 roll, to be like, shit, this is like the ultimate crit? You can have a couple more dice added to your pool for damage, and you can get 6 stunt points or whatever. Have triple ones be super bad. Maybe you impale yourself or something like that. But I'm a huge believer in criticals and critical fumbles. And I don't think some games do enough with them. You know, and especially if you're going to play a 3d6, you're rolling 3 dice at a time. And it is rare to get 3 ones, but I've seen it happen, especially when I'm rolling basic D&D characters, so I know it can happen. Or rolling 3 6s. That's hella hard to do. So why not have a huge bonus for crits and crit fumbles? I'm a huge fan of that. So I want to know what you guys, what you guys think about that. So, Light and Passion in chat brings up the bulk system in Pathfinder 2 and Starfinder. I love that system. When I read Starfinder and I read about bulk, I said, thankfully, somebody gets it now. So yeah, I mean, bulk kind of works just like Savage Worlds Encumbrance, minus the bulk and the light bulk items, but it's stringent. Once you have your weapon and your armor, your carrying capacity is getting pretty close. So that's why you need to have mounts. That's why you need to have wagons and such, or horses, or if you're a goblin, you can ride a wolf, or whatever mount you want to ride, as long as you can get the dang thing tamed. So yeah, that's a great thing that LMP brings up. So, oh yeah, Gun Playboy, welcome to the channel. Yeah, Gun, I'll definitely have something with your might or your strength or whatever I determine to call that ability score. Yeah, there will be a carrying capacity with each. And then, like I said, there will be other specializations or feats or whatever I decide to call them that could enhance it by a slight bit. Not a ton, but just a slight bit. It's all about character, customization. So, Twisted, do you think Encumbrance is a must? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a must too, but I don't, when you have a lower carrying capacity, you're not going to have the massive list of equipment that you're going to have on your character, because you have to always change numbers. So, but with Fantasy Grounds, it takes care of that for you, which will be in my rule set. But I think carrying capacity, a lower carrying capacity is great. And I'm definitely for that. And yeah. You liked Bolamang. Welcome as well, Bolamang. You like to find new ways about Encumbrance as well. Yeah, so do I. I was very happy to see when I first started playing Savage Worlds years ago. I loved that. And I also love the way that Starfinder and Pathfinder 2nd Edition have the bulk capacity. I think that's great. Twisted, yeah, there's not going to be a bunch of modifiers in my games. There's just going to be your ability score as a bonus to your primary tribute, whatever I decide to call it. And if there's any kind of enhancement on armor or a weapon or a magic item or something like that. Oh, did I say that? Did I give away a spoiler there? So yeah, there won't be a lot of, there's not going to be proficiency ranks. No, I'm not doing that, man. I want to keep the numbers low enough to where it's going to be easy and you don't have to have a degree in mathematics to play. So acing in Savage Worlds is the single most thing that exists in RPGs. I don't know how many games it exists, but Gung, I love that mechanic too. So that would be an option, but maybe just for maybe a crit, or I don't know. I mean, it's just something that can be, looked into further on down the line. So advantage and disadvantage is done well in 5e, but it's very advantageous and it's very disadvantageous when you have that. I like the way, even though I do like that in D&D 5e, I like the way that Schwab does Shadow of the Demon Lord boons and banes, which are basically advantage and disadvantage. If you have 3 boons and 2 banes, you get to roll, they offset one another, and you get to roll 1 extra dice. And that's what you get to add onto your roll. If you have 4 boons and 2 banes, then you get to roll 2 dice, and then you choose the best of those 2 dice to add. I like that. I like that better than just 2 20s or 2 1s. or roll 2d20s, or roll 2d20s for like a critical fumble or something. But I like the way Shadow of the Demon Lord does boons and banes, which are basically an advantage and disadvantage. I like the countering of them. So if you have like 3 banes and 1 boon, then you roll two 6-sideds and take that and subtract it from your primary roll. I like that. So, do I remember Middle-earth role-playing? I do remember it, but I never played it, Pernicious Pilfer. Space Master did as well. What's that, Juice Overdrive? What, the advantage and disadvantage? Or Warg? Never played that. Don't count currency. Yeah, but well, I mean, you wouldn't have to count currency if you had like a chest on a horse or something. But then again, that would be a great adventure where your chest was stolen or your mount was stolen when you have it parked out there and in the handicap parking spot out there without a handicap sticker, and then a couple of orcs come by and jack your horse. Thanks, Swiss and Mike. You like worm? Yeah, I always said when I started thinking about this a couple of years ago, I wanted to take all the games that I loved and kind of roll them up into one type of mechanic system. So, but I'm glad you like what you hear so far. But this is something that I've been, man, this has been on my mind for a couple of years now. Squall's wagon. Yeah, a couple of my parties, Lance said, yeah, your wagon. Dude, first time Pernicious Pilfer ever joined one of my games, I said, yeah, just use the player's handbook. And this is sort of like a funny side story, Pernicious Pilfer. He'll get a kick out of this too. When the first time he joined my game, I said, okay, take the player's handbook and, go ahead and choose your equipment depending on what background you have and whatever class, because that's how it goes in D&D 5th edition, unless you do the roll. So when I looked at Pernicious, and he's like, yeah, sure, that's cool, Dave. So the first time that I looked at his character sheet, there's like a wagon, there's like horses, and I'm scratching my head and I'm going, did I think I remember telling him. So, but I loved it. I was like, man, he kind of went out of the box. So I said, you know what? That'll be cool. You can go ahead and keep your wagon and all that other stuff. And my other players were sending me emails saying, dude, that is not fair. I never said that or anything, Lance, but yeah, they were like, man, why does he get a wagon and all this stuff? I said, well, kind of, and my response was, kind of look at it as a communal type of wagon. I'm sure he'll share. Woohoo, I love it. So keep on the Borderlands. Yeah, the next thing that I do want to talk about will be Magic. So just be patient. But yeah, Magic is another huge thing with games. It's huge with games. So Light and Passion says items that level, improve, grow. There's something special about having an item that is uniquely yours. Yeah. Story-wise, yeah, it can begin its own legend. Even, having people trying to hunt you down to get it, and that's another thing that I like. And this doesn't even have to do with an actual pen and paper game. There's some video games that I've played that I've kind of liked some of the ideas from the video games. And one of them is having once you finish what type of, role you want to have, you can have an item, a weapon, or maybe a piece of armor, or a ring, or a staff, or whatever, and it can level with you. And as you level, you can also enchant it as you level up. And you can kind of, I don't know if it would be just totally one-time enchantments to where you can't enchant anything else with it, or change the enchantments, or something that you can kind of interlock rune stones or something like that, take them in and out, and I mean, have a certain amount of rune slots. And that's another thing that I want to talk about with crafting and having slots and armor and weapons and stuff, because I like that. It's customization. It gives its economy control and stuff. So I don't want my players to have 1 billion gold. I want them to be spending it on consumables and all that other stuff. So, yeah. Pernicious Pilfer, I did love the wagon, though. But we'll talk about Magic. Magic will be the last thing that I kind of talk about for tonight. So, in fact, I think I might, because Magic's going to be such a huge topic to talk about, I think I'm going to save talking about Magic until next week, which I think would be good. So, let's hold off on Magic tonight, and we'll shelf that for next session. How does that sound? Because I actually have to go to Walmart. I order my groceries online, and I highly recommend it, everybody. So you don't have to go into Walmart on a weekend and fight with 30,000 people. Fill out your grocery order online, and then go and park in the orange parking spots, and they'll put it in your car for you. Unbelievable. Or you can pay them $7.95 to deliver it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to head to Wally World here in a couple of minutes. But so what do you guys think so far about what I've talked about with my world? So guys, feel free to, if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave comments. I do reply to them. If you're here in the live chat, I want to hear what you guys have to say about the topics that I've already mentioned tonight. So yeah, Bolo, that's another thing that I want to talk about, which I can actually mention right now. And this kind of goes with like training. You got like a merchant guild, or you have like a military type of guild, or an arcane wizard tower where you have to learn more magic. Do you guys think that training should be more difficult, to where you may have to pay to train, which is more economy control? Or do you like just the automatic ding? Your character has an aura around you when you level up, or you get experience points or soul points, however you're going to customize your character. Do you guys just want to say bing, automatic, and your chat box just fills up with all the different customizations you get for the new level? Or do you want to have to actually put some thought and effort into it and go see a trainer? Because remember, my game's only going to have a maximum of 10 levels. So I think doing something like that could work, and I think that's part of the adventure as well, and part of the story. So Magic, let me know what you guys think about that. Magic items, there's going to be lots of customization with them. Obmi wants goblins that can ride wargs. That's already going to happen. I love, goblins are pretty much my favorite race. That and Dracos or Dragonmen or Dragonborn or whatever you want to call them. Juice Overdrive, good crit tables. Exactly. I want good crit tables for a 3d6 or a 3d1 fumble. I think having very deadly crit tables and very nice crit tables, one-shot kills, whatever, decapitations, I think that would be really cool. And have them all separate. So if you're using a melee weapon, here's your crit table. If you're using a ranged weapon, here's a crit table. If you're using a black powder weapon, here's your crit table. And just kind of break it up like that. Yeah, exactly, Bolamang. It allows players to explore the world. So, Sandman, you were playing real life one shot with your son. He rolled his stats and got 6 18s. What? Oh my gosh. Dude, I've only rolled I don't think I've ever rolled 2 18s on a character. I think I've rolled an 18. I've rolled an 18 a couple times, but not multiple 18s. Wow. You need to take your son down to the convenience store and buy a lottery ticket. That's what you need to do. Will crafting be more viable? Yeah, you're going to have to hunt for the items that you want. So if you want to, create a magical if you want to create something that has immune to fire or poison, you're going to have to go fight a creature like an ancient dragon to get that, that one perfect, dragon shell, or the one plate on its body that doesn't have any damage to create a piece of armor like that. So, you need that perfect dragon scale. So yeah, I want there to be adventures like that. And in each one of and I'm going to touch on crafting also later, but each one of my regions or each one of my planes are going to have different materials. So if you want to create this weapon, you need to go to that plane, do it, and try to find what you're looking for. So, if you want to make a ring of water breathing, you're going to have to go into, probably the plane of water and try to find something. And that's what I want to accomplish as well. But of course there will be, already, made magic items that you can find or purchase or whatever. But, I want you to be able to go into my other planes and look for these creatures, or, these creatures that you've only heard in lore and in stories, to look for them, to try to find that dragon scale, or, the spines of a chimera or something, if you want to make a flail or something. I mean, yeah, all that good stuff. So exactly, Ryu. Fumble on a black powder weapon. Yeah, it'll be pretty vicious if something like that happens. But like I said, it's not like you're going to be firing, 4 attacks around and have enough gunpowder to do that, because it's going to be rare, man. It's going to be rare to have that type of technology. It's just not readily available. It may be readily available in some areas of my world, because maybe that's where it's manufactured. But yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility, Ryu. Craft a robe of stars. Maybe you need to find the residue of a dead planet in the astral sea, or whatever I decide to call my equivalence of the astral sea that every game does. So yeah. Yeah, that's another great idea, Sandman. Mermaid tears. Maybe you got to choke a mermaid out or something to get her to cry. I don't know. That's kind of brutal, but yeah. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and call it here for the night. So I hope you guys enjoyed my first stream where I'm talking about my World of Rakkahn. So please, guys, feel free, if you watch us on YouTube, leave me a comment down below. I'll definitely get you, responded to. And I also like to see what other people, have ideas for, because think, so many projects in the world were not created by just one mind. There's more minds are better than one on projects like this. So yeah. So everybody, thank you very much again for watching. I totally appreciate it. It's nice to be back streaming, and the whole thing is being consistent. When I tell you that I'm going to stream, I'm going to stream. When I tell you I'm going to have a game, I'm going to have a game. My players, I'm not going to let my players down. I don't want to let you guys down. And it's nice to get started back up. And I'll see you guys on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Saturdays could change, but you'll definitely be seeing me Mondays and Wednesdays. But if I have any other kind of special events or anything like that, visitors or anything like that, I'll have to change days and times and stuff. But I'll give you ample notice. You'll be able to see the schedule of what I've got going on here on the Twitch channel. You'll also be able to see it on my website, digitaldungeonmaster.com. And all of the content that I'm going to be creating for my World of Recon will be on my Patreon page. So, yeah, you guys will look for that. Hopefully, I'll have my Patreon page back up by February, by the time February rolls around. So, all right, everybody. You guys have a great one. I'll get the YouTube link tweeted out and Facebooked out once I get this done. I'll try to get it done maybe tomorrow, and I'll have the chat and everything in there. So, all right, everybody, you guys have a great one. And until next stream on Monday, I'll see you guys at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, happy gaming, stay safe, and keep using the awesome virtual tabletop program called, what is it? That's right, Fantasy Grounds. Everybody have a great one. Bye-bye.